But no, I was actually even trying to think, how and when did we get connected? It was a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, a couple months ago, I reached out and said, I've reached this point in my life, and I'd like to try to become this. A lot of people know me, a lot of people know who I am, and if I could somehow become an advocate for PD,
Hmm.
and tell my story and kind of give some people some, not necessarily hope, but some
Yeah.
bright perspective, then that's what I want to do. And so your podcast is the perfect venue for that.
Welcome to The Secret Life of Parkinson's, a podcast created by people living with Parkinson's to help break the stigma of a disease no one likes to talk about. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Krauser and Brian Baker. So we have John Hoover with us. So go ahead and tell us about yourself and and I know you're a public-facing individual, so give us a little background on what that is and then your PD story.
Yeah, so been married for 34 years. I'm 57 years old. Born and raised in North Pole, Alaska, which is, doctors think that might have had something to do with what's going on up here right now, so many years ago.
We'll have to touch on that in a little bit. That's interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to dive into that. That's a great story. Lived in Oklahoma for about 43 years now. Was diagnosed 2 years ago. I am a sports writer by trade. I've been a sports writer professional since I was 17, since like the day after I graduated high school. I got a job at the local paper and just haven't stopped. And newspapers, 31 years in newspapers, eventually evolved into, YouTube and television and broadcasting and radio. And a lot of people follow my work, I guess. I cover the Oklahoma Sooners, which is a real super popular team, college football team. So a lot of people do know who I am. And so this is an opportunity for me to say, hey, you guys know me. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Parkinson's.
So you did come out and talk to your viewer base about that already, right?
Yeah, I have talked about it on a podcast that we did, and I wrote a column back on July 29th, specific to, hey guys, y'all know me. Turns out I'm retiring. I'm semi-retiring. So back on July 29th, I made the announcement that August 1st, I was stepping away from full-time publisher work.
Okay.
The website that we work for is with Sports Illustrated's On SI group. It's called Oklahoma Sooners On SI. So if you want to read that column, you can find it at the top of my Twitter page. It's pinned to the top of my Twitter page. Just look for John E. Hoover. And yeah, it's I'm telling you, when I wrote that thing, it was incredible, the amount of outreach and outpouring of support. I did not expect that. I did not. I expected people to say, oh, that's too bad for Hoover, and then move on with their lives. I got something like 600 replies, 700 replies, that people saying, we're praying for you. We got this. You got this. You'll be all right. Here's some suggestions. It was amazing.
Oh, great. I was going to say,
amazing,
how many people reached out to say, I know somebody who also has Parkinson's, or try to connect you? Is there anything like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hundreds.
Good.
Hundreds. My most recent, I guess, neurologist, movement disorder specialist that I was seeing way down in Dallas, which is a 4-hour drive for me. She basically said, I can't see you anymore. You're going to have to find some care in Oklahoma for whatever reason. She didn't really clarify whatever reason. But because of that column that I wrote saying, hey, buddy, everybody, I've got Parkinson's, I had a colleague who I work with on a kind of a daily basis reach out and say, I have family ties to this research center. And within a couple of weeks, I had another appointment with a new movement disorder specialist because of that. So one door closes, another one opens. It's pretty special like that.
Well,
awesome.
Not only that, I think that just shows the reason why. I mean, there are a lot of people that still don't talk about it, and they don't bring it up. I actually was just meeting with somebody yesterday, and they don't talk about their Parkinson's that often, so they don't know anybody else. But it's like the more you do talk about it, it opens up those doors for something you may never even have thought of because you weren't aware of it. So I think that that's a great testament to being able to speak up.
Yeah, it is. Just yesterday, I went, to the dentist. My semi-annual visit to the dentist. Sat down, and dentist comes in and goes, "How you doing?" I go, "Well, I've got Parkinson's. You should probably know that." He looks at me and goes, "What? I didn't have any idea." So we spent the next 10 minutes talking about Parkinson's. Before my diagnosis was made public, I didn't tell anybody anything about anything that was going on with me. It was secret, and it was, self-contained, and I didn't want it out there, and I've been around athletes, young athletes, pro athletes, NFL, NBA, college athletes, high school athletes all my life. And to wake up one day and you've got this disease that everybody, associates with frailty and falling down and tremors and weakness and old age, that changed how I look at life, changed kind of what I thought about myself. And it certainly changed what I thought people thought about me.
Did you keep it a secret, John, by choice, or was it just something you were trying to figure out, or how to approach it? I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a big choice. First of all, I didn't want, if I went public with it, I didn't want my employer. I'm self-employed, and so my media company that I own have an individual contract with the publishing company. So I didn't want those people to say, Our OU football publisher has Parkinson's. Well, we don't need to be dealing with that. Let's cut him loose and move on. They were well within their rights to do that. But when I did make my announcement, I told my employer first, and he was like, dude, why didn't you tell me before? We got you. You're able to stick. We're going to be behind you, and you're going to be here as long as you want. So it was totally opposite of what I thought would happen.
So you were expecting the worst, anticipating the worst. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
How long did you keep it a secret? Like not a secret, but how long when were you diagnosed?
October 23, but I've known things were wrong since probably 2019.
What was it like? I mean,
it was a burden.
Yeah.
Because I to be able to function, you do have to tell some people some things. And so you're swearing these people to secrecy, and then they have this burden of secrecy, and it's like, I feel bad for you. And people are like, it's okay, I'm good at keeping secrets. Okay. Yeah. But it's almost like a negotiation. If I need this from you, if I tell you something, can you promise not to tell anybody? That kind of thing. So
is it just a overall like relief? I know you said you got a great response of people, but like even just for yourself, was it just like finally like a weight off your shoulders?
Huge burden off my shoulders. Like I said, I walked in to the dentist yesterday, and I didn't have to sit there and tell myself, okay, relax. Your foot's tremoring. Go ahead and relax. Stop. Chill out. Don't get nervous. Don't get scared. I just sat down and we just had a conversation. And that's the part that's liberating to me, is that you can finally get past the stigma, the self-diagnosed stigma. Like I said, what you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself. You get past that pretty quick. Yeah. And people are way more accommodating and forgiving and warm toward your situation than you think they will be.
In an email that you and I were exchanging, back in the summer, you called your diagnosis a train wreck, I think. Why? What were those early days like? Like, why would you call it a train wreck?
I don't know why this is. Tulsa proper basically has around 1.3 million people, I think, something like that. We're a big city. We're second biggest city in Oklahoma to Oklahoma City. We should have pretty good, pretty effective, pretty efficient medical people in the neurology department. And apparently we don't. And I didn't know that. And people are telling me, no, Tulsa is lacking in the neurology, movement disorder specialists. We've got some good ones, but some of them don't take insurance. And some of them aren't seeing new patients. And some of, they all have their reasons. So it's just really hard to get in to see a quality neurologist. And I feel like I'm living in Podunk, right? Way out in the woods somewhere. That there's not a big, huge population of qualified neurologists and movement disorder specialists and Parkinson's experts. I've had people tell me, I'm just a neurologist, I'm not your guy. And I've had people in Dallas tell me, I'm looking at your symptoms and I see things that don't look like Parkinson's. You need to go back to Oklahoma and see. So it's just been one kind of shifting me back and forth. I've probably seen 8 or 9 neurologists.
Oh my God.
With telehealth or something like that. And I just keep getting kicked around from one to the other. So hopefully this last one, this most recent one, is the one that's going to stick with me.
So where's that one at now?
Oklahoma City.
And how far is that for you?
It's about 2 hours, 2-hour drive.
Yeah,
hour and 40. It's not too bad.
A little bit of a drive. Yeah. Because that's what we've seen. We were in D.C. a few weeks ago, and the fact that there's only 660 movement disorder specialists, and some people are traveling. There's I can't remember what states don't have a movement disorder specialist at all. And so it's just always shocking because we're so lucky where we're at that we have so many within reach. And so it's always interesting for me to hear how far people have to travel. And so now you feel like you've got a good one, and that's great.
So
fingers crossed.
How did you, with I guess, seeing your first neurologist or like the first diagnosis or something, where did that come and how did you get there? Like what sent you to see a neurologist?
Yeah, that's another interesting story. I noticed a tremor in my right foot as I'm driving, right? You're trying to feather the gas and feather the brake or whatnot.
Yeah.
And your
use cruise
your foot
control.
starts going like this. Yeah, it's just a little bit, you can push down and you can lift up, but when you have to stand there in the middle and that's when the tremor starts. And so I was like, wonder what's wrong with my foot. And then one time I was using my mouse, to do some work. I was interviewing an NFL football coach on Zoom during COVID. Mm-hmm. And I looked down at my hand, and my hand was going like this. And I thought, okay, that's definitely not normal. Mm-hmm. Something's wrong. And from all the driving and all the work that you do as a sports writer, it's a lot of hours. I tell people now, my workload's cut in half. I'm at about 40 hours a week.
Wow.
Because as an online publisher covering a big sports team, you're constantly with 75, 80 hours a week is normal. Jeez. But when I got to, I have this little back problem, right, from driving so much. Mm-hmm. I went to see my acupuncturist, and she walks in the room. This is late 2020, maybe early 2021. She walks in the room and goes, "What's going on with your foot?" I go, "What?" She goes, "Why is your foot moving like that?" I go, "I don't know. I'm here for my back." And she goes, "Well, your foot looks like Parkinson's. You need to go see a doctor."
Wow.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah, she's really good. She's really smart. So I went to see a doctor, and of course the doctor is like, "Don't listen to her. She's crazy. You don't have Parkinson's. You're way too young, way too strong. Look at you. You can walk down the hallway perfectly, and you don't have any problems. Sure, you've got a little tremor, but that's not Parkinson's. Trust me." Well, I got a new doctor, obviously, mm-hmm. and got a real doctor. And he sent me to one neurologist and sent me to another neurologist, and pretty soon I'm taking tests and confirmed.
So are you taking medication, or I think you said you were on Vyalev?
Yeah. The first neurologist that confirmed it gave me some Rytary and extended release.
Right away?
He put me on amantadine first, didn't do anything. Uh-huh. Carbidopa, levodopa kind of helped a little bit. And he said, what you need is something that's going to stay in your system longer. So take these. It's called Rytary. Mm-hmm. And so I started taking Rytary, and it was like, hey, this is good. This works. Problem is, as everybody who's taken this carbidopa, levodopa stuff for their Parkinson's, is the absorption. And when you eat, mm-hmm. and when you eat protein and how much protein you eat.
Yeah.
And you have to time it out. One of my guys that works for me, he's like, I'm really glad you're on this new pump now, because we can stop and eat whenever we're traveling. We can stop and eat. I don't have to wait an hour for you to absorb your, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's exactly right. The simple fact that you have to time all this stuff out to the minute almost. Mm-hmm. If you take it too soon, or if you take it too late, or if you eat too much protein, it doesn't absorb. And so that's been a real problem. But the doctor, the MDS in Dallas that I saw, she said, "Would you like to try some Vyalev?" I said, "I don't know what Vyalev is, but tell me about it." Sure. And she said, "It's a pump. Mm-hmm. This is what it looks like." Mm-hmm. I don't know if you folks have seen it.
Yep, we had it on.
It's you have had it. It's not that much bigger than my iPhone 16.
Yeah.
It's a little thicker. Yeah. But I basically carry this thing around in my pocket. I've got a little tube sticking out of it that distributes the medication. It's pretty cool. And it really tamps down the tremors and the other symptoms.
And makes it you more evened out.
Yeah, throughout the day.
Do you ever have issues
no more ups and downs, no more highs and lows, off and on. It's just throughout the day, nice and steady.
Do you ever have issues where you it rips out accidentally?
Nope.
No?
Wow.
Oh,
nope.
Wow.
I've dropped it. I've carried it around. It falls out of my pocket on the couch, and I get up and walk, and I'm like, "What's that banging into my leg?" Oh, my thing's hanging. It's a little bit like a ball and chain, but it's not too bad. I just put it in my pocket, and off we go. And they give you this cool zip up fanny pack. Yeah, that you just put it inside there.
Dialing.
Looks like the old school cell phones, when people were there.
Yeah, very much. So if I have to mow the lawn, I'll strap that thing on like that. And I'm a kind of a side sleeper and a back sleeper. So I don't roll over onto my stomach. So I just keep it on my stomach all night. Works really well.
I was always curious.
Highly recommend it. If it works for you, highly recommend it.
So we have another friend he was on, and he's the one that showed us the Vyalev and how it's working for him. And he's had some issues with the
site getting
infected. And things like that. I think he's just, sorry, Nick, but I think he's a little rough with it, because it's like, he's like, this pulled out, or I bent over and this happened and this, whatever. But so I think just like anything, just with taking carbidopa, levodopa, I tell people all the time, they're like, well, I don't think it works. And I'm like, again, one of the things I learned, not early on enough, but is, are you taking it at the same exact time every single day? And they're like, well, I'm like, well, there you go. Like you have to play by the rules of what the medication is supposed to, how to follow through with it if you want it to actually work, which, people feel like, oh, am I giving into Parkinson's? No, you're giving into the, hopefully the part that makes you feel better.
Right.
So,
exactly. Yeah. With the Vyalev, I have had the infection, but that was my fault. We went camping. We went on a big RV camping trip up to Michigan. And so we're at the campground, and we're taking showers with the campground water, and I just think it got infected, and it hurt pretty bad, and it got really gross, and there was a big welt, and but I went to my doctor. He gave me the antibiotics, and we got it cleared up really quick. So it wasn't a big, huge thing, but it was a little scary when it happened. And the thing is, when they say wash your hands every time, wash your hands, keep your area clean, keep this area sterile, they're serious about it. They mean don't muck around with it. So that's what happened to me. I didn't wash my hands. I was on a camping trip. Who knows what was in that water up in Michigan, so.
That's actually probably a really good thing to note for people. That's
absolutely.
Yep.
How long have you had that, John? The pump?
April, May, June, July, August,
Good.
6 months.
Okay.
That's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
Happy that's working for you.
Yeah.
So what has been the hardest part for you personally of being diagnosed, like having the diagnosis of Parkinson's?
I think the hardest part is probably coping with the unexpected physical stress. When it first really presented to me, I was at a media days conference, right? And I stood up. They handed me the microphone, and I asked a football coach a question in an arena at the Dallas Cowboys arena. 500 other reporters sitting around listening to me ask a question of this coach, right? I mean, it's something that I've done 100 times in my career. It doesn't stress me out. And yet all of a sudden my hand is going like this and my leg is bouncing, and I'm like, what the heck? My voice started withering, drying up. And then what happens? Your brain panics, right? You lose your train of thought. And there's these 500 of your colleagues going, well, ask the question, dummy. When that hit me, I was like, okay, I need to think about this, how I'm doing this job, how I want to do this job, how I've always done this job, and how I can do this job moving forward. So that was really the hard part, is how the physical stress manifested into me not being able to do the job the way I wanted to be able to do it, the way I've always been able to do it.
And I think that's really important, because so I was, I'm not in a room full of reporters and professional athletes and coaches, but in marketing, I had no problem speaking and presenting in front of an audience of 100 to 300 people. Not a problem. Never shake, never nervous. And so when I came out at work, I didn't wait too long. We actually had a company meeting, and it just so happened to be, we did like a Back to the Future theme, just so happened to be a Michael J. Fox thing. So nice. I got up on stage to kind of do the introductions to everybody, but I told my boss, because we were a small company. We only had probably 100 people at that time. And I was the only marketer. So I was like, I need to tell people about this because I'm going to be up and around people and I'm going to be shaking. So I need them to know now, because I just like to get things out in the open. And that in itself, I think just like helped me. So like every time that I was having a meeting or a conversation, I'm like, just so you know, I'm like, if I'm shaking, I'm not nervous. You're not like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And it's like, that was like the biggest thing for me. And that's why I always like will tell people. And anytime someone sees me that they don't know me and they're like, oh, are you okay? Like, you don't have to be nervous. I'm like, I'm not, I have Parkinson's. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I just wanted to let you know. Like, so it just, I think
that is so familiar. What you're talking about I have the exact same story where people are just like, it's okay. You don't have to. You've asked me a million questions before. I'm just like, no, this is different. This is different. Trust me. So I'm not nervous. I do this all the time.
Do it all the time. Just get used to it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your career now moving forward? I mean, you just made this decision and it's been since August, right? And it's only September. Well, what is it?
It's October.
Huh.
Yeah, 3 months, 2 months.
Okay.
2 months I've been, it's been public. So,
but it's been 2 months of working 40 hours a week.
Right. Right. Yeah. The goal is, once football season is over, to hand off a little more and a little more and a little more to the guys who work for me. Still stay involved, still keep my name on it, still write columns once in a while. What's interesting is there's a breaking news element, right? Story happens. Hey, you got to get this. We got to get this up on the website as quick as possible. Those are the ones that get me going. Those are the ones that get my heart rate going, get my blood pumping, get my respiration up. Yes, exactly. And I'm just like, I better hit the extra dose on the old Vyalev pump for this one. That happens. But then if I write like an opinion column, here's how I feel about the backup quarterback situation at Oklahoma, and this is for tomorrow, or this is for next Friday or something, and it's not going to publish. Boy, I can sit there and my feet don't tremor and my hands don't tremor, and it's just such a mental thing that people that have this. They understand there's some things I can do that don't bother me, and there's some things I can do that just send me off onto a crazy train. So that's kind of where I've been with this. And another thing too, Jessica, is that apathy that they talk about. I always thought, as a hardworking been going full time since I was 17, I always thought apathy was something like a choice that lazy people made, right? I don't feel that way about apathy now.
No.
If apathy is one of your symptoms, whether it's the medication or the Parkinson's, I understand it could be either one or both. It's just such a challenge to really care about something that you used to care deeply about. And it turns out, guys, apathy can be a clinical condition. And I know there's a lot of PD patients right now going, yep, that's right.
Bingo.
Right.
It is. And that one's really difficult. And it's really difficult, one, for the person to explain how they feel and why they feel that way. And they, not that you know why you feel that way, but then for the, family members or those around you to be like, but just get up and do it. And it's like, no, I don't want to.
Tomorrow.
But so you exercise, you have to do fitness something, and you do drumming. Is that right?
So in my head, right, all these years, I've been like a 13-time world champion steering wheel drummer, right? It's a real thing, but it's all up here. So driving down the highway, right? When we were goofing around in college, we had a little air band, and we used to crank the stereo up, and I was always the drummer. I had two drumsticks.
Everybody's always the drummer. I love that.
Yeah. So all my life, I've had this secret, like, desire to be a drummer, or to at least play the drums. I mean, I have no illusion that I'm going to join a band or anything like that. I just
never know.
Never know. Artistry comes out when you have Parkinson's.
It's true. Something happened. Something clicked. And I went into Guitar Center one day. I was just milling around, wasting time, kind of between appointments or something. And I sat down at this drum set, and I was like, I could probably afford this. I got on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought a used one for like less than $300. I was like, so I brought it to my garage, cleaned up my garage, straightened everything up, and I am out there an hour to 3 hours, 5 to 7 days a week.
Wow. You taught yourself how to play.
Yeah, sort of. I'm definitely self-taught. Yeah. There's a lot of YouTube, videos and opinions, but two things, and this is amazing to me. is that it's cardio. And one of my doctors said, that's not cardio. And I was like, I looked at my watch and said I was doing 120 beats per minute. That's cardio. Drumming,
Yeah.
heavy rock. I don't know if you can see, this is my good friend Dave Grohl right here. It's not really
I don't
my
see
friend,
it, but yeah.
from the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Right? That's my spirit animal. And so yeah, love their songs, love their hard rock, fast rock, stuff like that. So I get my cardio every day sitting on the drums, but what they tell you is that drumming is actually really good. Learning a new instrument, but drumming it in particular, because its beats and its rhythms, is good for your neuroplasticity. It increases, I guess, or strengthens your neuroplasticity. So it's been pretty amazing for me. I'm having a lot of fun, but I feel like I'm also kind of kicking my Parkinson's butt by doing some drumming.
That is interesting, and you could probably speak to that too, right? Because we did a drumming
class.
So what can you tell us about?
Well, I think it's a lot of that coordination too. So yeah, not only are you getting your heart rate up, but you're doing the sequencing and the hand-eye coordination. I mean, you're kind of checking all the boxes,
And your foot's already moving, so you might as well have it hit that thing,
right?
It's amazing. That's the way I said it. Is that it's like I'm going to put this Parkinson's foot to
work,
to use for me. I'm going to make it work for me. And so that's the biggest thing, is you're literally training, and it's not easy. It's hard to do, but you work at it, and you make it part of your routine. You're training your right foot to do the kick bass, right? You're training your left foot to do the hi-hat, and you're training your right foot over here, your right hand over here, and your left hand's hitting the snare. And all of a sudden, when I first sat down, you guys, my right leg, it looked like a worm on a hot sidewalk. It was just twisting back and forth. I know you've seen this.
I do it. Yeah.
I know. So this is happening. Well, last night I called my wife in the garage and I said, I want you to watch this. And I got down, I got my right foot on the bass. Again, we're talking 4 months that I've been doing this. I got my right foot on the bass drum, and I was keeping a boom, 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 boom to whatever song it was. Perfect time, perfect rhythm. And she's like, wow, how did you learn how to do that? Practice, practice, practice. So I'm literally retraining my brain to take care of these, to do what my leg, to tell my leg to do what it's supposed to do. And I think I'm making my Parkinson's mad, right? Does that sound like, Parkinson's like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, watch me. Watch me train my right foot to stay in rhythm.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
That really is.
I love that story.
Yeah.
So for somebody that's newly diagnosed today, what's one thing that you would tell them?
Every Parkinson's patient is different. You could take 100 of us and put us in a room, and you'll have 100 different stories, 100 different symptoms, 100 different medications, right? I mean, everybody's is a little bit different. And there's a frustration that comes with that. And the hard part is when you get past that frustration of why isn't anybody listening to me? My symptoms are this. Well, yeah, but we've got 99 other people over here who have different symptoms. So don't give in to the frustration. And certainly if you're having a hard time finding a good neurologist or movement disorder specialist, don't give in to the frustration there. You have to advocate for yourself, or get your care partner to advocate for you. Don't give up. How many thousands of new patients are diagnosed every day with Parkinson's?
1 person every 6 minutes.
Yeah, 1 in 6.
Yeah, crazy. And a lot of those people, Jessica, are finding your podcast every day for the first time. So the work that you're doing is, I would say to anybody that's watching this particular podcast, come back and watch previous podcasts that they've done. Get to the library. Don't just start here and then move forward. Get back into their library and listen to some of the old ones. There's going to be so many resources in there that are going to be helpful to you. And then the final thing I would say is to new patients is I don't know if this word applies to this, get granular. Get off the internet, right? Get off of YouTube for a little while. Get your boots on the ground. Get in your community and find your Parkinson's resources locally. I can tell you this, in summer of 2024, which was less than a year after my diagnosis, my wife and I attended a weekly PD class. I was by far the youngest. There were 80 and 90-year-olds in there, but I learned so much. And I've still put some of those lessons to use. We also attended a regional conference in our town, just like a mile from my house. Picked up a ton of information as a new patient. So get out, sign up, sit down, and learn. That's what I would say.
That's awesome. Yeah, because the thing is, like, you don't want to be afraid of what you're going to see, and it's because people our age don't go out and talk about it. But that's what we're trying to change. And thank you for the shout out of watching previous episodes. But what I just want to make sure that and anybody else who is ever on our podcast, you guys are changing Parkinson's. Your story, like you said, everyone's story is different, but somebody out there is going to relate to you, whether it's because your public-facing career or because of the career, just the journalism career media that you have. Somebody is going to compare that to themselves, or even their journey with their movement disorder specialist or lack thereof. So just everything that you just did, even just for this segment, is changing the way people think about Parkinson's. So thank you for that.
I sure hope so, Jessica. Thank you for saying that. PD has forced me to kind of face the future, obviously, right? It forces us all to face the future. And when you look at it through that, I try to live each day a little more intentionally, right? They say stop and smell the roses. Yeah. Like I did last weekend. Take that trip, see that movie, go read that book, go pet that dog, as they say. Try to get as much joy as you can from each day, because each day is a gift, even if you have PD.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to end. Thank you so much for coming on. I do want to wrap up with our last 30 seconds. I think that was a perfect segue into the fact of, Parkinson's, yes, it's not the greatest diagnosis, but it does make you think about life differently and doing the things that maybe you never thought you would do. Playing from, air drums to actual drums and doing it well and fighting PD, I think is one great way to really even establish that. So again, thank you, John, so much for coming on. And with that, we'll see all of you guys next time. Thanks.